Okay, just a quick video. This is the pump out of my thing, ice cube maker. To get this off, this top part, you gotta peel back this sticker. If you peel it back, there's 2 screws. If you get those screws out, you can check to see your connection. Mine was fine. They're just small little screws to make sure you hang on to them. If you can see down in there, it looks a little dirty, so I'm going to clean that out. And then, of course, the tube that goes into it also looks pretty dirty, so I'm going to clean that out and see if I can't get this to work again. Okay, so all I did is I just add a little water. Be careful not to get any on that side there, but a little water in there. I use paper towel. I just kind of squeeze it down in there. As you can see, it did a pretty good job getting the gunk out. Now I'm going to work on the tubing. So you can see I just rotated it around and I just made that clear spot right there. I'll push it down a little further and do a little more and keep going. Okay, so it's kind of hard to get it out. You do have to kind of bend the tube a little bit and use gravity. But you can see there's the toothpick after cleaning a bunch of it out. And I think when I run some more water through it, it'll also dislodge some more. Okay, there's the final. Again, you just kind of use gravity and kind of tap it down in there little ways and just keep rotating it around. There's the toothpicks. And there's the motor. So I think we're about ready to put this back together. Oh, there were 3 screws on the top of this. I'll show you that here in a minute to get that on. Okay, here's the rest of it. Again, these are the 3 screws I was talking about. This is the piece here. Hang on to that gasket for sure. But you can see how it has that pull in the middle of it, that post. And this thing just slides over that. Now it's a magnet. You can see it's kind of dirty there. I'm gonna probably sand that off a little bit and try to clean it up before I try this out and see if I can get it to run again. Okay, so I used 100 medium and I just kind of scratched it a little bit. You can kind of see some of the stuff. It definitely cleaned it up some. Better than it was for sure. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, last bit of advice on this. Before you take it apart, I don't know if you can see there or not, but I scratched it right here and there to mark where it went, since you could get any angle. So I went ahead and maybe you can see a little bit there. So I did a double scratch so I knew that I had it put in the right spot. So when I reinstall it, it'll be facing like this. Okay, so last test before I install it back in again. This does work. I don't know if I can do it or not with this thing the way it is, but we'll see if I can get that thing to see it. So I know my pump is working just fine. It was not earlier when I tried it the first time. It didn't go at all. So I think cleaning it out definitely helped. The other thing they said on these things is these switches here tend to go bad. I haven't checked those yet. I think mine are okay. They click pretty well, but we'll check those here in a minute too. Okay, so the pump goes down in that hole. Like I said, it looks something like that. I went ahead and put this on now because I think it's gonna be easier at this point. But then you're gonna want to thread your wires through. I did have to cut. There was a zip tie around a couple of the wires up here, kind of like this one here. And again, I just had to cut it off. It goes into the one actually that's labeled pump, as you can see. Okay, so I just took it to that hole there. It does go on the back side. And again, this is on the back underneath. You just slide it around that edge. And then it's going to flip up after you get around that thing there. It'll flip up like this. Of course, I need to get the other electrical wire where it needs to go to. So I'll work on that one now. Okay, so I ended up using a longer screwdriver to kind of twist this down a little bit. But you gotta, I mean, I think you could probably use your fingers too. I don't know if you can see. But there's tabs on the bottom there that they have to be on the underside of that black edge there. And you gotta push it into that opening that I showed you earlier. Again, I'm not sure if I rewired this wire correctly, but I think we'll go ahead and give it a shot where it is. And this tube here just kind of goes up around that edge. It clips back behind that little lip there, and then it goes right up into there, like that. So now I've got that there. So the way to get this on or off, depending on what you're doing, in this case we're going to get it back on, is there's just a screw, and it's actually going to go, there's two holes right here at the bottom, and it goes in that hole and just right up in there. So you just take it out through the plate. You don't take this plate off, and then that tightens it in place. All right, and there's the other one. So now that they're both in, I can go ahead and tighten those down. Again, don't over tighten them. And go on that hole there. And we're finishing tightening this one in. So my pump works. I thought my pump was bad. I think it just needed to be cleaned out some. It had a bunch of gunk in it. And it wasn't probably letting that magnet inside there spin like it needed to. And again, finally, don't forget to plug this in. And again, it just goes on. Let's see. Guess you're not really seeing that. All right, so it just goes on like this. Just gonna push it down. You hear it clip in place. So it's on. I'm actually gonna move this wire behind there before I go further. But then if you want to just take it off, you just pinch it right to the top and pull up. Okay, so it did go into this opening back here. These were the three wires zip tied together. I'm not going to zip tie them together right now. I might later if I decide it's worth it. But I think everything there is good to go. Now we just have to test those two, make sure that we're making that connection between them. They sound okay from what I'm hearing. So, yeah. Okay, so to get this to move, I just plugged it in briefly and then I turned it on the top there. I just let it come to a point where I wanted it to be, and then I just simply unplugged it. So it's kind of halfway between. So you can hear it's got a good click. That's got a good click. But now I need to actually test them to see if they're working like they're supposed to. Okay, so just gonna put them up on the top, it's on the edge there. I don't know if you can hear that squeal in the background, but that's my continuity. It's kind of a weak one. And then we'll do the other one. Okay, so again on that one. You hear it click, you hear it beep. So those are good. So I think this is actually ready to try to run a cycle. So I'll add some water to it. Again, I'm still going to leave this back panel off just to double check, but I think this ice machine is going to work again. Oh, one other thing before I forget. This panel here has a black plastic piece that slides up in there, and it clips on the very bottom here. It's not too complicated to figure out. You just have to reach down there and grab that little end, and it slides right out. I guess I forgot to tell you. So this is my continuity tester. That's the setting you're looking for right there. And again, You should be able to test it just simply by putting your two ends together. It should make a noise. If it beeps, you have continuity. Alright, so as you can see, it did pump, which it wasn't doing before. It is looked like it's making ice, for what I can tell. Fan's running. So let's see if we actually get some ice. Alright, looks like we got ice again, so we're working. So hopefully that helped you out.